Hang on to your hats, folks. We're diving into the second last episode of Cruel Summer Season 2. Going against the grain, the whole episode changes direction, taking the spotlight off Megan and shining it on Luke as we take a trip into the beautiful fall of 1999 and the freezing winter of 2000. Considering the summer 2000 timeline after Luke's death is left out of this round, it's a curious move. This episode stands apart from the rest, showing us Luke's world during the autumn of 1999 and the start of 2000. The episode before this left us clutching our hearts as Isabella fired a bullet at Luke. We all knew Luke wasn't ready to kick the bucket. The coroner's paperwork showed a gunshot wound, but it wasn't what sent him to the great beyond. This episode opens up, showing the bullet just scraped Luke's ear, causing chaos amongst the trio in the cabin as Megan jumps into action to patch up Luke. As the story spins back and forth between two timelines, it's clear as day that Luke isn't much different from his big bro, Brent, at least to those close to them. Come fall 1999, Luke's telling his dad, Steve, that he'd rather join the Coast Guard than get stuck in Steve's old school. Steve, not being one to take no for an answer, shrugs off Luke's sincere talk, telling Luke straight up that he's going to Branson. Even after Steve's strong reaction, Luke applies to both Branson and the Coast Guard, getting a big yes from both. Trying to take a stand against his dad again, Luke's dreams are tossed aside as a kid's dreams. This sets off a passionate argument where Luke calls out Steve for playing favorites with Brent and not giving two hoots about him. In the meantime, we see Luke's suspicions about Isabella wanting him and Megan to split up weren't unfounded. We see Isabella working her influence on Megan to push her towards her goals and warning Luke to not mess things up. Luke and Jeff finally chew the fat after Megan dumped Jeff for Luke. Jeff doesn't hold back, bluntly saying that Luke's worse than Brent because at least Brent's open about who he is. Jump to January 1st, 2000, where Megan drops the baby news on Luke after Isabella bolts. Luke's head spinning, quickly suggesting his dad can help them handle it, hinting at an abortion. That's the last straw for Megan, who tells Luke she's seen his true colors and walks out. Alone in the shack, Luke frees himself and staggers outside, clearly still feeling the effects of a mix of benzos and booze. There's a terrifying moment where it seems Luke might fall into the water, making his death look like a tragic accident. After all, Isabella and Megan drugged him and Megan slipped booze into his drink. But he manages to sit on the dock and page someone, looking relieved as a mystery guest shows up. It's a safe bet that this mystery person holds the answer to why Luke isn't here anymore. It's not likely Steve, he'd be the last person Luke would hit up in this mess. So, who's left? Brent, Sheriff Meyer, maybe even Jeff? None of them seem to have a reason to kill Luke unless there's a twist we're not seeing. One thing's for sure though, Megan and Isabella aren't directly to blame for Luke's death. They're cozy in bed at home when this mystery guest turns up at the dock. Remember in the last episode, even when high as a kite, Luke swore up and down that he didn't leak the spicy video he secretly filmed with Megan. Yet, in a passionate argument with his dad at a house party in this episode, he grabs a videotape, gives it to a server to play it for everyone. When Luke realizes that the tape is his private time with Megan, he's taken aback, like it doesn't belong there. It's possible he thought it was one of Brent's tapes. This means someone dug up Luke's tape and mixed it in with Brent's stash. Brent looks like the prime suspect, making us wonder if he's the person on the dock. Could Brent be after his dad's dough, planning to off Luke all this time? Admittedly, it's an unlikely bet, given his character.